Hey now, what is up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and this is yet another impromptu review for this time Arrow, Season 5, Episode 4, entitled Penance. And I say impromptu because last night I decided, sort of on a whim, to review Flash, because I really enjoyed that episode, had a lot of fun with it. So I thought, well, why not also review Arrow? Hopefully because I would have enjoyed it just as much, right? Not so much. Look, it's okay if you guys enjoyed it, if you guys loved it, if you guys are even enjoying this season so far. There's just something about this season that I'm not really digging. First things first, at the very beginning, we see that Oliver's new team sucks. And they do. They suck. In a lot of ways, I guess that's supposed to be the point, is because we can't bring in a new team and have them just immediately replace the old team or be better than the old team. Sure, that's true. These guys are inexperienced. These guys are supposed to mess up and not fully be ready. I get it. But I'm also starting to wonder, what's the point of even having a new team in the first place? Why couldn't we have gone back to Oliver being by himself? Why? Like, he could have maybe some people that he might have to call on for help at times, but why do we have to have a full-blown team that is there all the time? Look, you have, who do we have? Artemis, that's the young girl's name, who, thank God they didn't have her take up the Black Canary mantle. That would have been awful, although they almost did that. She's the only one in the group that's sort of okay with me because she's not a complete fuck up, at least not yet. In this episode, at least, she didn't do anything overly stupid. You have Casey Jones, or should I say Wild Dog, because that's such a better name. Him and his hockey mask, he can't help himself. He can't hold back. He has to always try to be the hero, I guess, or whatever reason why he shot first and didn't let her shoot the arrow on this random thug, this random criminal. He messed up badly. I mean, this guy needs to be kicked off the team for so many reasons, but that's a major reason. Then we have Curtis, who looks ridiculous. Look, Curtis, at least out of the group, he's the only one that they introduced last season, so they at least had him around. We at least got to know him as a character before him joining the team, so I will give them that. The other two people I just don't know, like, at all, really. We didn't really get a whole lot about them. Curtis, I do know, I just can't buy him as this vigilante or as this superhero, as this crime fighter. I know in the comic books he's a superhero, but I'm not buying it here. It's between him getting his ass kicked all the time. I mean, he gets beat up by a random thug at the beginning of this. And not just a couple punches, I mean, he gets his ass kicked. And again, he's new, he's inexperienced, I get all of that, but it's like, how are we as an audience supposed to buy them as a group? How are we supposed to think that Oliver's being too hard on them, or he's being a dick, or he's not trusting them enough if every time we see them they get their ass kicked? They've shown no reason for us and Oliver to trust them, to go along with them, but yet we're supposed to think that Oliver's being a dick. Also, Curtis looks ridiculous with is that a mask or is that just black face paint that he has over his face? He looks stupid. Like, who thinks that looks cool? Does anybody really think that Curtis's superhero vigilante look looks cool? I like the braids, I like the cornrows, that's a nice touch, but the mask or the face paint is stupid. They need to figure something out. They need to have something that actually looks cool or looks intimidating in some way, not ridiculous in a joke. Now, after all of this fails, Ragman, aka Rory, he meets with Oliver and tells him that he's leaving the team, leaving the group. And I thought, wow, after like, what, 1 or 2 episodes, he's already leaving? His reason for leaving is because he can't really be in the same room with the same team as Felicity, because she reminds him of what happened to his hometown and his family and whatnot. And I get it. I do. He's just another character that I haven't fully attached to, that I don't have a whole lot of feelings for. And he's probably the most interesting character out of the whole group. Out of the new characters, I think he could be something. It wasn't until the very end of this episode where I thought maybe, I mean, look, these seasons have like 23 episodes, sometimes more. You have a lot of episodes to fill in the season. Maybe each one of these new characters needs their own episode, or at least an episode centered around them individually, so I can feel like I know them, so I can attach myself to them, so I can care about them. Maybe I'm the only one having this issue to where I'm having like a big problem trying to care about these new characters. I don't understand why it was so easy for the show to introduce Roy, for example, and it was easy to like that character. It was easy to get behind him, to understand why he wanted to be a vigilante, him being inspired by Oliver and whatnot. Even Thea becoming a hero was believable. Laurel, for God's sakes. I mean, maybe that wasn't the most believable, but it was more believable than any one of these characters. Anyways, I'll move on, because that's where we get at least one of the main plots of the episode, where Lila, Diggle's wife, wants Oliver to break Diggle out of prison. I like this. I love that she's proactive and she wouldn't take no from an answer from Diggle himself. She wanted this guy out, especially because he didn't deserve to be in there or shouldn't have been in there. And of course, Felicity, the number one person who always has to go against the grain, who always has to disagree, who always has to say, that's not a good idea. Sometimes she has a point, but this time it's like, it's for Diggle. Shut the fuck up and let them do this. You've done a lot worse things than breaking your friend out of prison who doesn't deserve to be in there. She just has to disagree and have the complete opposite opinion just because. Not only that, the new team, they have the nerve, the gall to go to Oliver and say, we're not going to let you go save your long friend who you've known well before us, who you're doing a mission that has nothing to do with us, that isn't our business, that we really shouldn't have a say in, or shouldn't even feel comfortable enough to come to you and say this, but we're going to say it. And then not only that, they tried to fight him. All three of them tried to fight him, and Oliver thankfully kicked all of their asses to make them look like the dweebs that they were. I'm not feeling this team, but that especially pissed me off. So Oliver has to go in there with a new mask and a new look to go break Diggle out. Maybe a little too easy to break him out of a high security prison like this, a military prison. Yeah, but I did kind of enjoy the moment where they were outside, they were surrounded by a bunch of guards, and Oliver totally pulls the Dark Knight sort of way of getting out of there on the plane by just getting grabbed by the harness and rolled up by the plane. So that was cool. That happened. Felicity had a moment where she went to talk to Ragman, Rory, and this was a nice scene. Look, I complain a lot, sure. I nitpick a lot, you could say, but I can say that the acting here was well done. I bought where each person was coming from, and the fact that she was trying to get his help, but he wasn't ready for it. All of that was fine. Of course, he comes back and eventually does come back to help them, so that was nice. Ragman, he's a guy who, when I see him out of his costume, he just looks like a regular person and doesn't seem like there's a whole lot to him. But when he wears the rags, when he's in costume, in that garb, and he has that distorted voice, and the rag is doing all those weird powers and abilities that we still really can't understand, but he's fascinating. I almost wish that, again, we need more to do with this character. We need to see more of what he's capable of, and again, I find the character interesting. I do. Felicity on her own, because Oliver's doing the thing with Diggle. On her own, she gets the team to go after Tobias Church, and it goes horribly wrong because what does Curtis do but get himself stabbed in the back? Again, useless. What did he even do? Why is he even there? He needs to be the guy that stays back at headquarters. He needs to be the computer guy. He's the smart guy, intelligence, computers. Like, don't go on the field. No fighting for Curtis. pathetic. I honestly thought maybe he was going to get killed right then and there. He probably should have. If anybody on the group gets killed, it probably should be Curtis. No offense. And then Tobias decides to be a badass, and he beats the hell out of Wild Dog or Jason Voorhees or whatever he's supposed to be, and they have him taken. They have him kidnapped, and he's strung up, and they're torturing him, beating him up. Why don't they just kill him? I mean, I might sound like an asshole for saying that I don't care if Wild Dog gets killed. I don't care. But even just for storyline purposes, why doesn't he just kill this guy to send a message to Arrow? Like, I guess he's going to hold him hostage to have Arrow go find them. But this is one of those bad guy tropes that is like, does bad guys still do this? Do they still do this in these movies or shows? It's what makes these criminals dumb. But it's a trope. Again, maybe I'm complaining. I didn't really care for the episode. The best part of the episode was Oliver breaking Diggle out and just that part. I wish that was the majority of the episode, the bulk of the episode. I didn't need any of this other stuff. In fact, I don't need any of the new team on the show, period. But last thing I want to mention is the flashbacks, because as much as I don't really care a whole lot about the flashbacks, they're in Russia now and whatnot, it's still better than last season with the magic mystical stuff, and it's still better than the Japan season. So I can give them that. It's a little interesting, especially one complaint though about the flashback is that Oliver had a moment where he had to pretend to be drunk to get himself arrested by the cop. And all he did was go up to the cop car and kick at it and break the light. And that was a missed opportunity to get Stephen Amell, who actually is a pretty good actor. I think this show doesn't let him do enough. He's always just dark and brooding, and that's it. I wanted to see him take that moment to pretend to be drunk and maybe just act really goofy and silly to show some more personality. I remember in the first 2 seasons where he had to pretend to be the playboy, drunk, party billionaire guy in the public, kind of like Bruce Wayne, and he pulled that off well. I want to see different stuff from him, but we didn't get that. He gets put in jail. He has to talk to this guy, and he threatens him. There's a moment where he threatens his wife and child. Like, he says he's going to kill them. And who knows if he really meant it or was going to do it, but I just love that this is what the flashbacks should be. Him being ruthless, not full-blown villain, but ruthless and willing to kill, having no problem with killing. And it seems like we're getting the first steps to him not having a problem killing, because he does kill this guy. He snaps his neck right in the middle of the jail cell in front of everybody. Overall, is it the worst episode I've ever seen? No. Is it even worse than last season? I guess I can't say that, but I will say that I'm not digging this season. I'm not. I hope it gets better. I really, really do. So guys, let me know in the comments below. Once again, what did you think of this episode? Did you like it more than I did? Do you think I'm complaining too much? Or do you see where I'm coming from? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!